Now hey guys, welcome back to the channel and another Swiss001 video. I think that was too many zeros. Now recently I was flying through the south of France, actually pretty much right here when I saw this very interesting thing down here. Yeah, right now we are flying above the city of Fréjus? I guess, or free Jews, but that kind of sounds a little weird. And yeah, this apparently seems to be an abandoned airfield. And you know, just instinctively I thought I have to make a video about this one, so let's just go ahead and land our plane down here. Actually, let's not do a typical normal landing, because this is not a typical normal airport, because it's closed, right? It's apparently... There we go. Now we have had a Birdstrike, and the right engine is actually damaged. But let's actually go ahead and cut off both of our engines. Okay, now this is a real emergency. We have to land down here on the pretty short runway that Fréjus Airport has, or apparently used to have. Alright, this is not the worst engine failure that I've ever had. The APU is running just fine, and that is providing our plane with electricity and all that stuff, so that we have all the controls and all the instruments are working as well, at least so far. I don't really fly the ERJ-145 a lot, which is, by the way, the plane that we're in right now, so I don't really know how it normally reacts to the engines shutting down. Let's just get this plane landed. Alright, actually the runway down here seems to be very much intact still. It's a little bit scuffed, but it seems fine. There we go.
Are you sure about that?
You call this a great landing? That was really bad. But on purpose, we have to stop now. Alright, there we go. That was a pretty close call. Alright. That was fine enough. As you can see, we landed on this abandoned airfield, which still has a pretty intact runway, I would say. I mean, it's a little, yeah, again, it's a little scuffed, but it does seem fine enough for a plane to land. We have a lot of cross marks on the runway. This is a typical abandoned runway. But let's actually check the landing out as well, which apparently, according to the flight simulator, was a great landing. Yeah, we still had that screen installed, which I used yesterday to measure the smooth landings that I did. Yeah, that was really not a good landing. That was really touching down on the nose, but I realized I had to touch down as soon as possible. This is not a very long runway, and we didn't have a lot of it left. And we also didn't even have reverse thrust here. Obviously, our engines were very much dead. So this was definitely required, but this worked out quite well. There we go. This little airstrip is definitely, emergency landing approved. Now yes, I obviously went on a mission to find out a little bit more about this abandoned airfield, and apparently, yes indeed, Fréjus, which is this town, used to actually have an airfield, or how they called it, an advanced landing ground. Now this airport has quite a long history. It was built before World War I actually as a grass naval field in 1912, which is pretty crazy. That's like definitely over 100 years ago. They did a lot of test flying here of new planes and all that stuff, you know. There's a lot of history in French planes. So that was really the start of this little airfield. By the way, we have these cross marks here that are probably not here in real life. This would be like a temporary way of showing that a runway is closed. But actually, let's fly some more planes here while we'll talk about it. You know what? The 757 is working again here in the flight simulator. Let's maybe do another smooth landing, right? All right, welcome aboard this beautiful airplane. Now we actually have a plane that actually works. Yeah, there was a lot of war history at this airfield, which I don't really like to talk about, because then YouTube is not going to pay me as much money. I'm not joking. But yeah, in the 1950s, when the world was a little calmer again, an asphalt runway was built here. Alright, now there's trees here. Oh goodness. Oh yes, that was beautiful. That might have not been a very good idea, because this is not a long runway. This is only 1,000 meters long, which can be a little close here in the 757. Oh goodness. Alright, I failed again. So this is what I was talking about in yesterday's video, where I was like doing the smoothest landings possible. Smooth landings are not good landings necessarily, because as you can see, I touched down pretty late, and when you touch down a little harder, you tend to use less of the runway actually for a stop. This didn't work out. Alright, welcome aboard the 777, which is probably way too big for this one, but whatever. Now back to the history lesson. After they built the hard runway here, the asphalt runway, they continued to do like military operation of planes here, but there was also a civilian general aviation side. So there were actual civil aviation traffic as well. Oh goodness. Alright, yeah, these planes here are way too large for this airfield. We're still at 100 knots and yeah. But that was mostly like military traffic here until when they closed this airfield in the 1990s. In 1995, actually, for some reason. I mean, I could imagine that they had the idea of building like houses here on the airfield, but I mean, it's still there pretty much. The only thing that's changed now is that there's like more of a sports complex. Actually, this is quite funny. Here in the satellite's photo, you can actually see players on a soccer field, so that is interesting enough. But yeah, they pretty much just have left this airfield abandoned without ever like doing something with all the space here. I guess the past two landings were a complete failure, in the 777 and the 757 as well. I do wonder now, what is the biggest plane that can practically fly here? I mean, the 737 will most probably work out. Let's try the biggest version that there is, the Max 10. Yes, of course. Alright, so maybe this plane will work out. Honestly, here at the airfield, I don't really see a reason to close it, even though there is quite a lot of airfields here in the area anyway. So maybe there was just no need for it, I guess. But even though this airfield has been left abandoned for over like 20 years now, the runway actually is still in a very much good shape. In real life, there's some trees next to it as well, but it's still very usable. Okay. That was... Alright, 1500 feet of FPM. I haven't done a hard landing like this in a while, but you know, you do what you have to do. As you can see, this was a safer landing than the 757, which was a 20 FPM. Numbers is not always what matters. Even though this might have actually broken our plane as well, but it still works. So yeah, this is kind of cool actually, isn't it? Right now the airfield is completely open to the public. You can just go onto the runway if you want to and take pictures or do whatever or play football. This is also like pretty cool, like next to the beach and all that stuff. That's definitely a nice place to visit, but oh no, okay. That reminds me of another Lion Air flight. So yeah guys, thank you for watching today's video, and I'll see you tomorrow. As always, good night. Oh wait, it is time for bonus video, or like community bonus, or whatever. Now in yesterday's video, as I've already told you, I was doing the smoothest landings that I could do. The best that I could actually do was 8 feet per minute of descent rate on touchdown. That was really nice. Let's see if you guys could beat that. There we go. I asked you guys to send me your landings on YouTube here with my hashtag, and there's quite a few clips. One landing that I really liked is the 777-300. You know, there's some details here in this landing, like my Butter song in the background. Isn't that nice? Also, this airport seems pretty interesting. Which one is that? Whatever.
40, 30, 20, 10.
Oh wow, perfectly timed as well. As you can see, this guy had a descent rate on touchdown of 25 feet per minute, and this tilted landing gear just looks beautiful. I mean, you know, again, this kind of smooth landing obviously isn't the landing that you would ever see in real life, because just to touch down, we've lost pretty much half of the runway already, so stopping might actually become an issue. But I think this was a successful landing anyway, wasn't it? This was absolutely beautiful though. Okay, yeah, here's another nice attempt of someone trying to land a 737-800 with their mouse yoke. Come on, can't you get a joystick? Honestly, this is like gonna be pretty interesting, because I have never done a good landing with a mouse yoke. Let me just tell you that. It's just not really possible, especially the center line sucks a lot when you fly with your mouse. But I have flown planes with my laptop trackpad, and that is another story. Alright, just show me your landing. Wonderful, 92 FPM. That is really impressive for such a mouse yoke flight. But yeah, you know what? Let's actually keep this going. Just keep sending me over these landings that you do, and I'll probably show them in future videos, because it makes them longer and I can make more money. I mean, you know, I'm just being honest at this point. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching today's video, and I'll see you tomorrow as always. Good night.